kind of a go-to guy for people, and I know a lot of people contact you and everything. There was one phone call, or a few phone calls in particular from one person that really bothered you, wasn't there?
Yeah, you know, I suppose I get a lot of emails, right, and it takes me a long time to respond to them, and I scan through them, and you can often tell by the language that's in them if a person is in a lot of distress, and that happened recently with one young man, and I was able to get his number and ring him. And it was obvious that he was in a pretty dark place, and do my best to try and talk him through that, but wasn't able to do so. Literally on the phone while he was talking to me, you know, he ended his life, and his last words to me were that you know, he didn't have a difficulty with his sexuality. It was the people around him. And you know, that young man, Brendan, didn't emerge into the world feeling less than as a human being because of whom he chose to love, or feeling that there was no place for him in society and that he'd have to end his life. It's society that created an environment for that man, the young man, to feel like that. And, you know, society is only ever a collection of individuals, and we're all individuals within that society. And, you know, that's why the upcoming marriage referendum for me is so important, because opponents to it speak about the rights of children. But what about the rights of young children that are home this evening in their parents' houses and that are carrying a secret and unnecessary fears and worries inside them? The marriage referendum is about them. The referendum is about those men and women that write to me and email me that have had to hide away in the priesthood or as nuns in monasteries or in false marriages because of a fear of being true to themselves. It's about the likes of Pat Carey, who you had on our show recently, who had to wait until his mid or late 60s to be able to embrace the joy of his sexuality. It's about the horrific fact that members of the LGBT community are 7 times more likely to end their life through suicide. That's what the marriage referendum is about. And it's about all of those people, and me and many others like me, being able to take our place in society, not as less than or more than, but as equals with our fellow brothers and sisters. And, you know, I know there's a lot of people at home this evening, Brendan, who are classed as maybe those soft voters, and I have 25 uncle and aunts and a lot of relations, and I can imagine a lot of them might have been in that position until the likes of me and Dunlow came along, and because they'd have that love and desire for us to be treated as equals, they'd vote in that marriage referendum. But I'd say to those people, what's to say in 5 or 10 or 15 years' time that your child or your niece or nephew or your grandchild or your friend or your grandfather came to you and said that they were lesbian or gay or whatever? And imagine how you might feel. At first there'd be a lot of fears and worries, but eventually your unconditional love for them would wash away, and then the thought would come into your head, my God, I had a chance back in 2015 to make a real difference for this person so that they wouldn't have to feel less than as a person. And so every generation gets an opportunity to further the cause of humanity and make this world a better place for us all. And this upcoming marriage referendum is that opportunity for this generation of people, and I really hope that the Irish people take that on board.
And Conor,